the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with KindaRealNate. Here's another OMFL production.
Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly podcast show for the OMFL. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Looking like I'm having some few little technical difficulties. There we go. Now we got it fired up. Now you can see the background. But we are here after a great draft show this past week. We've already got the week 1 games in. Week 2 is rolling. And it's time to do a little prediction show. We're missing one of our buddies. Mr. Maniac was supposed to be with us here tonight, but it looks like he may be a little late to the party. He might join us as we kind of roll along here, but I do have my man with me, as always, our Super Bowl champion, number 82, Mr. D. Wayne in the Indianapolis Colts. How you doing, D. Wayne?
It's not too bad. It's been a tough day. My Cowboys losing, but a good day is I'm off till Wednesday night now, nice. So I can't really complain. And I get to do a show with you, Nate. So I end the night right.
Yeah. Well, I've only got a couple of days off, and then a couple of days of work, and then starting Wednesday, half a day, I get off until the 6th. So I'm really looking forward to some time off and getting to relax and play way too many video games. So look, we're going to keep tonight's show pretty short. We had such a great press pass live right before the draft, and then an amazing draft show. These draft shows seem to get better each and every year, but this year really was spectacular. I got to have Maniac and D. Wayne on the show with me. We were able to bring on lots of interviews and talk to coaches. Even had some smack talk going on. So it was just one of the best draft shows we've ever had. And so there's not a whole lot left to be said and not a whole lot to talk about as we get into season 82, but we do need to make some predictions. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start in the NFC this time. Let's start in the NFC East. We'll go division by division. We'll hop between the NFC and the AFC. So we'll go NFC East, AFC East, NFC West, AFC West, so on and so forth until we get all the way through. Just tell me who you think will win, and if you think a wild card might come out of that. We're not going to go all the way through and give our Super Bowl winners just yet. We're just going to go division by division, and then we can give our Super Bowl game pick and our Super Bowl winner pick, and then we'll wrap the show up with a few little announcements and a little State of the Union address. So this will be a pretty short show. So let's dive into it. The NFC East, the Washington Redskins, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys not only won this division last year, but they were in the OMFLBowl. Right now, the Washington Redskins are 2-0, Dallas Cowboys 1-1, Giants 1-1, and the Eagles 0-2. How do you see this division playing out?
I think this is going to be one of your closer divisions. I think this division is going to kind of beat up on themselves. I do think it's closer than a lot of people think. I don't think the Cowboys are as clean-cut favorite this year, and that's not because the Cowboys got worse. I just think it's because I look at the Redskins. I think the Redskins are better. They picked up Cam Newton this offseason. He picked up a couple pieces that I think are going to get him over the top. I know he has one, computer win so far this cycle or this season due to him being out of town, but then he won tonight, so he is 2-0. The Cowboys came out. They lost their first game to your Saints pretty handily. He responded with a big win. The Giants are looking like the Giants. They're a tough team overall, but Pepper's biggest thing, if he stays out of his own head, the Giants will always be a competitive team. The Eagles are a team that I talked to him today a little bit. I think he's still trying to figure it out. He had a tough game against the Bengals today. It's the Eagles are still trying to find their way. This division, it might surprise people when I predict. I think the Redskins win it this year. I think Dawson's got the right people in place. He's got a star quarterback in place. And he has, I mean, anytime you have Dak Prescott as your backup quarterback, you're in good position quarterback wise. I think he's got there. I think the confidence level with him, if you let Dawson get on a roll, Nate can preach to that. He was in his division a couple Maddens ago. If you let Dawson get on a roll and start playing some defense and get a little confidence, he can be scary. So I go with the Redskins winning this division, and I go with the Cowboys getting a wild card out of this division. With the Giants, man, the Giants fighting the Cowboys for that playoff spot. I think the Eagles are still a little bit trying to find their place here in the OMFL and in that tough NFC East division.
Yep, I'm going to keep my comments pretty short because people hear enough from me, so I don't want to bore everybody with all my comments. But I kind of agree with you. I do think that the Washington Redskins will push the Dallas Cowboys this year. I think the Giants, if he can ever just kind of get out of his own head a little bit, he's a very good player, and he plays great defense. I think that like the wheels fall off one or two plays, and it kind of rattles him. And I think it seems that he just gets frustrated and can't shake the frustration, and then doesn't play up to his potential. I do like the Redskins, but I do think this is the Dallas Cowboys division until proven otherwise. I do think him trading Zeke is going to hurt him. Definitely the team is not as well oiled of a machine as it was last season. I do like the Redskins. I think that they will take a wild card this year. I think it will come out of this division. But I do think the Dallas Cowboys will win this one. Look for the Redskins to battle them. And it would not shock me if the Giants battle them also, if the Giants can kind of, stay out of their own head. It was a big game between the Cowboys and Giants that just happened today. And it was a close game to the very end, and the Cowboys were able to come out on top of that one. So it's interesting to see how this one come out. But I do like the Cowboys, Redskins taking a wild card. Let's hop over to the AFC East. You got the New York Jets, the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins. Right now it's 1-1 to the Jets, 1-1 to the Patriots, 0-1 to the Bills, 0-1 to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, of course, got all the way to the AFC Championship last year, had a really great draft. The Bills have completely revamped their offense, and they're doing a much unique and different offense. They also drafted some really good players, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. The Patriots are really steady. They've really rebuilt that team. They are part of the hot seat, so check out the OMFL hot seat. A little plug for that. And then the Jets and Clyde, Jason, he's always one of our favorite people. Really pulling for him, but he's going to have to play really more consistent football on offense. How do you see this division breaking out?
I just want you to know Maniac is here. He's just still muted. Just going to give you a heads up.
Mr. Maniac, well, unmute yourself, my buddy, as soon as you're ready to join us. I think we kind of caught you. We caught you before you was ready. So unmute yourself, and you can jump in on this discussion. It sounds like you've unmuted yourself. So, D-Wayne, we'll get you to give us your AFC East, and then we'll throw it over to Maniac for his AFC East.
I'll try not to rant as long this time. Now that we got somebody else to share the time. I think this division is very interesting because you got the Patriots and Dolphins both who have been AFC, been in the AFC Championship game, Pats and AFC, all the way to the OMFLBowl. The Jets are a very improved team, and Clyde. We know what Clyde can do. We've seen what he did in the AFC South with the Titans when he was there. I think he's a team that's going to be under a lot of people's radar this year because he's always been competitive. He just hadn't been able to break over that hump since we got the AFC East. And the Bills are one of the most interesting teams, especially with this new offense he's implementing, kind of a option base, but it's not an option offense, but he does implement a lot of option in it. Really fun watching him play his last game. He didn't win, but he said that was one of the most fun games he's ever played. And, that goes a long way. Having fun here goes a long way. This division is really tough to call. I do think it comes down to the Dolphins and Patriots until the Jets and Bills can just show me a little bit more. I'm going to have to go with Kevin again. I think Kevin kind of had the Patriots number this last year. And until I see the Patriots take it from him, I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. But I do, like I said, almost like the NFC East, I give it to the Patriots as they're going to be a wild card team, and the Dolphins win this division.
Maniac, how do you see the AFC East breaking out?
Well, so far from looking at the stats from their games and stuff, they're all kind of neck and neck with as far as like offensive versus their defensive stats. Each team has given up just as much points, if not more, than what they're scoring right now. So that's kind of unusual for the AFC East, especially those two top-tier teams, the Patriots and Dolphins. So, but right now, I'm going to kind of throw a curveball. I'm going with the Jets coming out on top of this one. I think we possibly could have two teams come out of this division for the playoffs. But I'm thinking that from looking at what I'm looking at right now, I think the Jets might actually be able to pull something out this season and look for Kev and Mr. No Comp to be battling out the second spot. It's going to be close down the. I think the Jets pull this out.
I like the New England Patriots in this division. I do think a wild card. It would not surprise me if two wild cards came out of this division with both the Jets and the Dolphins. I think the Bills have a long way to go, but at least they will be improved. They'll definitely push some teams and they'll win some late games. So I do like the Patriots, though, to win this division. Let's hop over to the NFC West. You got the San Francisco 49ers at 1-1, Seattle Seahawks at 1-1, Rams at 1-1, Arizona Cardinals at 0-2. And I think the common theme early this season, and it is super, super early, is there have been some big upset wins already early this season. And so this one comes from the San Francisco 49ers really owning this division for the last couple of seasons. The Seahawks really pushing them. The Rams are really not able to get out of their own way. And the Cardinals are just a work in progress, a really weak roster. But Mo really is working to build that roster. But I think he's still a couple seasons away. Maniac, how do you see the NFC West breaking out?
Well, so far, I believe it was week one that the 49ers kind of got embarrassed a little bit, I think, by the Bears, if I'm not correct. I haven't had a chance to look at all the matchups and stuff, but I believe that was correct. I believe the Bears upset them. But I do know that they lost that first week. And, looking at what Mo had done kind of in the off season, I think there was kind of a feeling that Mo and the Seahawks were going to start, kind of taking this division back over. But in week two, they had the matchup between the 49ers and the Seahawks. And, Big Hurt kind of still solidified himself and said, "Oh, wait a minute, Mo. You got all these big, high-costing players out of free agency, but I'm here to play this smash mouth NFC West football." And he took it to him today and came out with a win. So it's going to be neck and neck all down to the end between the 49ers and the Seahawks, and it's just going to be kind of like the last man standing, I think, that ends up with this one. And I'm going to call it, I think the 49ers are going to hold on to this. You're going to have Crazy that's going to be a little bit more improved, I think, this season. I think he's already 1-1 on the season. And then you're going to have just a really close call, I think, with Mo and Big Hurt, but I believe Big Hurt maintains his hold.
Dwayne, how do you see the NFC West playing out?
Well, kind of like Maniac said, the Seahawks had a huge Week 1 win over the Patriots. That's a two juggernaut squads playing each other, and then Week 2 came back down to earth against the 49ers. Really close game. I know it says 10-point game, but it was down to the wire. The Rams, solid one. They actually beat the Jets this week after losing to the CPU Redskins. The Cardinals are another team with Mo Daly are just stick wise. He's really scary to play against. But it is 49ers division. I just think he just has a clutch. I know that the Seahawks won that playoff game last year, but I think even if you ask Mo, it's just something about the 49ers gets to Mo right now. I don't know if it just Mo can't get comfortable, and we know how good the Seahawks are when he's in his groove and he's comfortable and he's playing. He just can't get comfortable against the 49ers, and until he gets over that hump, and like I said, I repeat when I say that he beat him in the playoffs last year, but I think this is 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 wins. The 6 out of 7 games the 49ers have won against Seahawks this cycle. I will say this. I think the Rams are a team that have played real good. I think if he can cut down his interceptions with his quarterback, he can be a really good player. He's steadily improved every season he's been here. He's a team it's a sleeper team. It's just unfortunate he plays in a division with the 49ers and Seahawks because those are just two elite juggernaut teams. But I will say the 49ers, and I can't even lie when I say it's you could have two. I mean, almost certainly have two teams come out of this division with the Seahawks and 49ers. I think it's almost a coin toss. It's just I think the 49ers head-to-head have the advantage over the Seahawks. I'm going to go the 49ers win this division with almost 99.9% chance the Seahawks get a wild card.
Yep, I agree 100% with you about the Rams and this division. I like the 49ers. For some reason, the Seahawks just cannot beat them. But the Seahawks will get a wild card, and that's both my wild cards, both in the NFC East and the West. So those are the rest of my divisions. I think will just be division winners. Let's hop over to the AFC West. You got the Chargers at 1-0, the Raiders at 1-0, the Kansas City Chiefs at 0-1, and the Denver Broncos at 0-1. Dwayne, how do you see the AFC West breaking out?
Well, with Week 1, you had the Chargers getting a solid win over a division win. Chiefs Week 1. Bill has really brought a new energy to that Chargers team. The Chiefs are a team that I keep waiting to get over that hump as well. They have a really good team, a lot of speed. Our team that compete, and he just can't get over that hump. And he plays in really, this is another division, and I know we keep repeating this, but I think this speaks volumes to our league. I know I'm kind of getting off topic. All these divisions are stacked. You have very few divisions where it's just the gap is wide open. The Broncos lost a game against the no tanking Falcons. The Falcons came out and showed what the Falcons can do. And the Broncos, anytime that's just a game. That's a tough Week 1. You get to see what the real Falcons are about. And the Raiders came out Week 1 and lost to I just had it pulled up. Oh, they beat the Bills 26-14. He played a really solid game. He was in control most of that game. I think the Raiders are a team you got to keep your eye on. But this division, I want to call it right now. I think Bill wins this division. I think Bill's coming out with a new sense here. He's brought new energy to this Chargers team. I do think the Raiders and Broncos will be knocking on his door. The Chiefs, I think they're just a step behind this group right now. He's got a really solid team. He's a really good owner, but he's just a step behind these other three teams. But I do think the Chargers win this division. I don't know if another team comes out because this division usually beats themselves up so bad. I think the Chargers come out of this division. I don't know if another team comes out of this division with the wild card, though.
Maniac, how do you see the AFC West coming out?
Well, we all know the Godfather, Mr. Bill. He's got the master plan. Like I swear, like he's the Titans and he's this other team, the Chargers, but all the puppet strings he's been pulling, man, is all to that Chargers team. That team is stacked and reloaded in the draft. He loaded up and got a couple solid players, I believe, in free agency. It's just, he's the Godfather. I had to call it. This is Bill's division. But I do think that the Oakland Raiders are going to be right there kind of nipping on his heels and it'll push him, I think, for the division. I was kind of shocked to see that the Broncos did, fall so well to the Falcons. But I mean, he's not tanking now, and he's got this solid super team now, the super speed team, and but that's a whole different division. But I was kind of shocked to kind of see that the Broncos struggle as they did against the Falcons. But this is Bill's division, and that's we're gonna call it and leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I like the Raiders in this division. I think that Bill is going to stumble kind of halfway through there. The Raiders are going to be able to pull this one out. I will say, though, if both of my wild cards don't come out of the AFC East, that one will come out of the AFC West. And, of course, I do like Bill to take one of those wild card spots. It's going to be a tight race all the way down to the very end. The Chiefs still have a long way to go. Look for the Broncos to turn things around. I know he stumbled against the Falcons in Week 1, but he's a good team. He's going to come away with a couple of victories that people aren't really counting on him to get. That will happen this season. But I do like the Raiders to win this division, and then Bill and his Chargers to push for a wild card. Let's hop over to the NFC North. The Detroit Lions are 1-0. The Chicago Bears are 1-0. The Green Bay Packers are 1-1. And the Minnesota Vikings, after all of that smack talk on the draft show, is sitting at 0-2. Maniac, break down the NFC North.
Yeah, this is probably the most entertaining division that we have in NFL with the owners and stuff. And obviously, like you said, we we heard with Duvall and the big rant that went went on in the draft show. And you know, I kind of had to scrub him a little bit hard today in the chat. I said, you should have stuck with the 49ers. But no, Priest is, you know, he's kind of got that offensive juggernaut going right now. But the one team that I want to focus on, and he's the two-time defending division champ, is Mr. Double Null. And he's actually the one that took down the 49ers in that week 1 matchup. So, I mean, 27-10 over the 49ers is nothing to thumb your nose at. I mean, that's a solid performance. Double Null. And with Smash, you know, smashing the Bears, they're a grinded out, smash mouth football team. So to me, this division is going to come down to those two. Now, if Priest can limit and kind of calm it down, which he has found his rushing game, by the way. I think he had like a total of 168 yards in his win that he has this season. And if he can maintain that, he's going to push these guys as well. I mean, this is kind of a three-legged race right now. I know with the Vikings and stuff, you know, he's 0-2. He's kind of already said that he's basically, I think we have another tanker possibly on our hands. But this is Double Null's division. I mean, he's got the crown the past 2 seasons, and there's a reason that, you know, these guys have got to focus on him and get him, dethrone him from that division. And I look for Double Null to make it 3 in a row.
Dwayne, how you like the NFC North?
Yeah, I think Maniac said it well. When you look at the Lions and a dominant Week 1 victory, is another guy who I've always said he's his own worst enemy. When he's confident and playing with confidence, he is a very scary team to play against because he brings one of the best defenses. I guess defensive schemes to the table as anybody does here. But like I said, he's just got to stay out of his own head as long as he keeps his eye on the prize. NFC North's his. I know I cut that, you know, real plain and simple there. I just think that this division beats each other up so much. The Packers turn the ball over a little too much for my liking. The Vikings, I think, once again, like Maniac said, he's already kind of selling the house. He's going to put a trade block up with all his veterans. So I don't know what he's got going on, if he is literally going to tank or if he's just trying to get some return on those guys. The Bears are a team that interests me just because I know how Smash is. I played against Smash. I've seen what he can do, but he's just got to prove to me that they can score, because this division is not. I mean, they're almost like the real life NFC East. They just don't score a whole lot of points, and I think the DBL and his defense is going to lead the way for the NFC North. And I don't see another wild card team out of this. I think DBL wins this division with everybody else beating each other up. The Packers, and I had to say this about Priest, because Priest is one. If he can cut down turnovers, Priest can be really scary because his offense is explosive. But he just, man, he's old school Brett Favre. He's gunslinger, and he's going to tell you he's going to sling it down the field 40 times a game. But it's DBL's division. I don't know how else to say it. It's his division. The other 3 teams are going to beat each other up. We might catch some slack because, like Maniac said, this is the most entertaining division. But I think this is Double Zero's division to win, and as long as he keeps his eye on the prize, it's all his.
I agree. This is the most entertaining division. I agree that the Packers turn the ball over way too much. I also agree that the Vikings can't seem to get out of their own way. I'll also say, though, I think the Double Zero is a lot like the Giants, gets into his own head too much. I think that the Bears are the most fully rounded team in this division, and I'm going to take the Bears to win this division. Of course, I think it'll be a tight race. I think no wild cards come out of this division because they do beat each other up too much, and there are some really other really good divisions out there. And the Seahawks, of course, will always be an 11, 12, 13-win team. They always take at least one wild card spot right off the table to leave the other divisions to fight for the last one. So give me the Bears to win this one and no other teams to make the playoffs. Let's hop over to the AFC North. Dwayne, you got the Cincinnati Bengals at 2-0. The Ravens at 1-0, the Browns at 0-1, and the Steelers at 0-2. Break this one down for me.
This division is a fun one, just because you do have some conflicting scheme fits here. You have the Bengals, who are just aired out offensively. Not a great defensive player, and I think he'll admit that his defense is never three and out guys. If he don't create a turnover, he gives up a lot of points. I think you look at the Ravens, are a team that I think we all kind of cheer for him a little bit. I think he brings a lot to the table with his team. He's exciting with Lamar Jackson back there. I think if he just open up that playbook a little bit and get just a little more out there, I think he could really break through because he really gives the Bengals trouble. Trouble. I'm really stuttering. That's not the alcohol tonight. Then you get the Browns, and the Browns are just like I was talking about. One of the best defenses. K brings, if he's not going to bring anything else, he's going to bring a defense to the table, and you're not going to go in there and stat pad against him. And then you got the Steelers, who have really lost some close games this year. I watched his game against the Bengals, and he was right there and just couldn't break through that week one. And then he lost tonight. He's lost 2 games by combined 6 points. He could just as easily be 2-0, but that's how it works. He's 0-2. And honestly, you fall behind like this against the Bengals and a couple of them other teams, it's really tough to come out. I think this division is not as wide open as people think. I will say I think Cincinnati wins this division, but I think the Ravens and Browns and Steelers are knocking on his door, and I really think that Cleveland will be the number 2 team knocking on his door. I think he really had a chance to make the playoffs last year. He caught Cincy on a down year. But I think if K can get together and, put 20, 24 points on the board, I think he wins a lot of games. And I think he's really close because he's really improved offensively. But I will go with the Bengals in this division. And I don't see another team getting out of it. I think it's almost like the NFC North. They beat each other up so much. But I think Cincy has that 1, maybe 2-game lead on everybody else, maybe 11, 12 wins. And I don't think anybody else out of this division makes it to the play.
Maniac, break down the North.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Dwayne also. I mean, it's not as wide open as a lot of people think, but I'm also, the guy that's been there. The Bengals, Cincy. He's a proven owner and team within this division. But I think the team that's actually going to be pushing the Bengals this year, and he's had some problems playing the Ravens. The Ravens has gotten a couple of wins, I believe, against Cincy in the last couple seasons. And I think if he can get, he played the first game against Chaotic, and it was an absolute just defensive battle from finish to end. And I think it was like 19-12, the final score. And but if he can get rolling with his offense, the defense that he's showing that he's got right now, and I was watching a few moments of their game and stuff, and I mean his defense was just flying to the ball, and they were making some big time plays in the backfield and stuff. So if he can get things going on the offensive side, get where he can sustain some drives and get first downs, move the chains, and kind of control the clock. I think we look for Mr. Mackey and those Ravens to possibly sneak this division away from Cincy, or at least possibly get to a point where he can maybe push for a wild card spot and get into the playoffs. But I'm calling it here. Look for Cincy to go ahead and maintain that title.
Yeah, I think you guys are huffing, cleaning supplies tonight because the Cincinnati Bengals are clearly far and ahead over this division. Every other team is 3 steps behind. I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to push, this is the time that they're going to do it because they're going to have a lot of time off from their job. You can already tell he's able to focus a little bit more, having some close, tight games. But when you're as unplugged as he has to be because of work, it's hard to build a roster, right, in one off season and hope that you can all of a sudden start to compete. I totally disagree about the Ravens. Love him as a human, and he is one of my top guys here. But gameplay-wise, he's just not there. He cannot compete with the Cincinnati Bengals. And Chaotic, again, I think next season will be his year because he'll have some time here to focus and build his team. But I think offensively just can't get over the hump to put up enough points. The Bengals are the most well-rounded team. They've owned this division for too long. Cincinnati Bengals no other team makes the playoffs in this division. Let's hop over to the AFC South. You and me, Mr. Maniac. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 1-0, the New Orleans Saints at 1-0, the Atlanta Falcons at 1-0, the Carolina Panthers at 0-1. One of the most well-rounded and intense divisions that we will have in the OMFL. All four teams had a great offseason and pretty solid drafts. But Maniac, how do you see our NFC South breaking out?
Yeah, that's a good rundown of this division. I mean, everybody seems like they're just stacked and loaded, and every game is just going to be fighting tooth and nail for a victory. I'm gonna have to go with Tanker D though. I think his off-season acquisitions are going to be too much for us. But I do see you pushing for your title rematch. I mean, you're the defending champion of this division and stuff, and so 2 times. That's right, 2 times. And I think you're gonna push him, but I think in the end it's gonna be Falcons with the Saints snagging a wild card spot, and I'm afraid the Buccaneers and the Panthers going to be looking outside in.
Mr. D. Wayne, tell me about the South, your old division.
I still miss y'all sometimes. I just want y'all to know that. It's a hell of a division. Honestly, it's probably one of the more, in my opinion, I know y'all probably won't agree with me when I say it's the most wide open division, because I think you have 4 guys there that can win the NFC South. You have 4 guys that have all won. I think everybody in the division has won a division title before, maybe not necessarily in that division, but they have won a division. I think it's the most wide open. I think you got the he's going to get tired of hearing it, but he did put his Discord name that, the Tanker Falcons.
I have to say I did that.
Oh, okay. I said, well, at least you own up. But I do think he's in. I mean, he's made his team. He did exactly what we thought he was going to do. Got there, got a top pick, got his guys in place, and Nate and Kay have both spoke to the volumes of how good a player he was, and we've seen how good he can be. But you have the Saints too, who are coming off of back-to-back division championships and have shown that they can play with the best in the NFC. And then you got the Maniac and the Bucks, who's going to have his running back, knock on wood, Maniac, for the whole season. And let's hope that, if everybody can stay healthy in that team, that's another team that, like I said, you made the playoffs last year with the hurt running back and playing with backups, which was a big difference. I know the one game I played, you could tell that Jones not back there. The deep threat, the take every handoff to a touchdown threat was gone. And then the Panthers, I think he's going to be a lot more. Well, I say that he could be a lot less focused on more and still break records of more. But I do think he will spread the ball around more, which will make him a more dangerous team. I think last year, like I said, he was so focused on more that he just kind of played himself out of a lot of games. I think he is going to spread the ball around, and he's going to be a lot more focused this year. This is the most wide open division to me. And I said earlier that I thought that one NFC wildcard might, and I said might earlier for a reason, come out of the NFC East, because this is the only other division that I could see other than Seahawks. We're going to lock the Seahawks in. They're a wildcard team. The NFC East, or this division, is going to have a wildcard team. I will say that I do think the 2 teams that come out of this division, I think, man, I know that Nate's going to get on here. You got 4 teams that win the division, and we're so early. I will say I think that the championship, the NFC South crown comes down to Saints and Bucks. I think both teams have shown consistency this cycle. The Falcons, as good as they are, he does have some weaknesses. And like I said, I just want to see him play. I want to see him not tank. I want to see him play like he did that first season. And like I said, I can't sleep on the Panthers. I want to go the Saints win this division. I say the Bucks probably get a wild card spot. It's either them or the Cowboys. I know that I said earlier the Redskins win the division. Them or the Cowboys gets that last wild card spot with the Falcons and Panthers. And breathing down their neck, I think this could be a division right here where we had, I think, Nate, with the last cycle. Was it the last cycle of 18 that we had 4 10-win teams?
Yeah.
I think this could be another division right here where you have 10-win teams in there. And honestly, anybody can win this division. But I'm going to go with Saints win it and Bucks get the wild card.
Tanker D may be my new favorite all-time name here in the OMFL, but D-Money is going to win this division. Look, he's a top 3 player in this league, and he tanked and had an AA++ draft. look, he may go a couple games where those guys don't start, but they're going to start before the season's over. He's going to hit his stride, and yeah, I mean, he's going to have 390 overall cornerbacks, a speedster, receiver, and a quarterback with a big arm. So, yeah, I think that D-Money wins this division. I think it may be close. I think the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to play some great defense against him. But can they keep their offensive line and their running back? If so, I think that the Bucks can definitely push him. I've already given away both of my wild cards, so I think that the division winner will be the only one that makes the playoffs. I do think it'll be close and tight, but I do like the Atlanta Falcons to win this. The Carolina Panthers are going to be much improved. I know that they're 0-1, but it's early in the season. You can already see he's playing different football. They'll get that team more well-rounded. Andrew Luck is now at the helm. They'll turn that team around, but I just think D-Money and the Falcons are going to be too much to handle. They'll go from worst to first in this division. Let's hop over to our last one, AFC South. You got the Indianapolis Colts at 1-0, the Houston Texans at 1-0, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-1, and the Tennessee Titans at 1-1. Dwayne, break down your own division.
This is one where I think we're less wide open than we were a season ago. I think UNMV was a more competitive with the Texans than Outlaw will be this year. I think Outlaw doesn't have his guys ready for the Texans yet. I do think he's still a little checked out with his team, even though he don't have the Bears. But he should know that the Texans are a really solid team to be with. And you're in Texas, the greatest state there is. I think he's a season or two away, getting his guys in there. And this is just a whole different kind of division for Outlaw. I mean, the NFC North was to beat each other up. Let's play 14-point games. I think this division is a lot more explosive, and I think it's just a different level, a different type of gameplay. I think you got Brady and the Jaguars, and Brady's another one who you can't ever count out. I think he's had a 13-win season and a 12-win season this cycle. He's been playing really good. He's one you can't count out, and the Titans are the most intriguing one to me because I've played against him this season, and just when you thought that he was out of the game, he just opens up the doors, and he to me, he can throw with the best of them from what I've seen so far. He's no Bill, but he brings a different dynamic than Bill does to the Titans. I do think that I hate to say that I win the division. I hate to say that. But I think that Brady and Tim give me the most competition. And I'm not knocking you out. You might give me a hard time for this tomorrow. You're just a season or two away. You got to get your guys in there. And you're playing against two teams that have had 3 seasons to put teams together. And the Titans have really fast constructed their team. I do think I win this division. Not running away. I think the Jaguars and Titans will be right there, and I think the Jaguars are second place, and I think they get another wild card spot. And I know he'll be thrilled and he'll win 12 games to get a wild card spot, and he'll be petitioning for the best overall teams to get playoff spots again.
Maniac, what do you think about the South?
Dwayne. How many Super Bowls have you been to, Dwayne, again?
Let me count them. No, I've been to 6.
6 Super Bowls. This is, I mean, it's everybody. It's going to be a fight for who's second. Because Dwayne, this is Dwayne's division all the way. But I do think the Titans are an improved team, and one of the big offseason moves that they made was to trade for Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke has already paid pretty well big dividends for him. You can tell in his offensive production points-wise. He's already got 61 points on the season within 2 games. And, last year I think I played him, and he was at some point in time he was even struggling to get an offensive game plan going. I think he kind of struggled a little bit with running the ball, but he seems to be also playing the ball around pretty well right now as well. So I think it's going to be in this division. Obviously, it's going to be Dwayne. I think the Titans and the Jaguars are going to push for that second runner-up, and then Outlaw and the Texans. Even though Outlaw is a very solid player,
right?
It's just going to be one of those things where he's just got to get his team built, the way he likes it, and until that happens, he's going to be kind of get up there in that top part of that division. But it's the Colts.
Hands down, D. Wayne's division. There's no way I could take this one from him. I think he's the most well-rounded team in the entire league, and we'll get to our Super Bowl picks here in just a second. But I do think that we're discounting what Outlaw and his Texans can do. He does have some FPR things he's got to work on as well. Do a lot of people in that division, but I think Tim is much more improved. He showed that tonight with a big victory, and of course Brady is always one of the top, 10 teams in this league. So this will be a tight race, but it will be a race for second place, and they will be fighting for a wild card spot. I've already given away both of my wild cards, so give me D-Wayne to make it out of this division. So let's go really quickly. Give me just your OMFLBowl prediction. Who are the two teams that will be in it, and who wins it? And then we'll wrap it up with a little state of the league address and then call it a night. So, Mr. D. Wayne, who makes it to OMFLBowl number 82 and who wins it?
I think out of the NFC, I'll start on that side. I think it's going to be a really, like I said, we've already talked. It's going to be a very similar picture to last year's playoffs. I think the only team that's going to be different this year is the Redskins instead of the Cowboys. I think it'll be a very hard-fought one, but I'll have to go with I had to breathe real hard when I say that. I do think that this is the year that it'll be an NFC South team in the championship. I think that the NFC West will kind of overlook everybody when fighting between themselves. I think those two teams are so focused on each other and beating each other that that I'm not speaking for what they're doing, but what I'm predicting is they'll slightly overlook the NFC South. I think the NFC South, and I do think it'll come down to the Saints and Bucks, and whoever wins, kind of like last year, division versus the wild card game. And I'm going to go with, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squeak out another win, and with their star running back and playing no turnover football, I think they surprise the NFC and take the NFC title. And I think coming out of the AFC, I think Cincinnati comes back on top and comes out of the AFC. And I think you see AFC Cincinnati, NFC Tampa Bay for a real epic OMFL Bowl.
Who wins it? Give me your prediction.
I honestly think that it goes in overtime, and I think Tampa Bay kicks a 60-yard field goal as time expires in overtime to win the game.
Holy crap.
You couldn't write a fence much harder than that prediction right there. Maniac, give me your prediction. Who makes it to the bowl and who wins it?
Well, thanks for the huge bullseye. Can I go out on a limb and say that what I want to see? And I really think it can happen, because let's have a Dakota Bowl. The Redskins versus the Colts. That would be an epic matchup. And obviously, you look at the Redskins, he's revamped that team. He's got that team rolling right now. I know that the first game was a CPU, but the second game, he played lights out with that team. I see Mr. Dakota with the Redskins pulling out the NFC side. And we're going to have our returning NFL or OMFL champion, Mr. D-Wayne. And we're going to have our very first ever Dakota Bowl in the OMFL.
I'd watch. Who do you think wins that one?
I'm going to have to say that we're going to give it to Dwayne. He's been there before. And like fashion, it's going to be an overtime, but it's going to be Bo scamping to the end zone for the game-winning touchdown in overtime.
Yeah, I like the Colts coming out of the AFC. They only got stronger. I think that, any team can win, of course, on any given Sunday, but we're giving our predictions. I'm taking the Colts to make it out of the AFC, and I'm going to stick with my pick in the NFC. I think the Falcons are just going to be too unstoppable. I wouldn't say that the 49ers would be like my, 1B. It would not surprise me if the 49ers do make it. I think that the 49ers do play outstanding defense and could shut the Falcons down. But I just see the Falcons getting on a roll with this team. Those rookies may not be playing right now, but they'll be playing before the season's over with. If he stays healthy, he'll make it. And give me the Falcons and Colts in OMFL Bowl 82. And I like the Colts to come away with the victory, to be another back-to-back champion here in the OMFL. Just too well-rounded of a team. They play too solid of defense, and they just don't turn the ball over on offense at all. And he plays. You have to play perfect football against him, which is really, really difficult. So those are our predictions for OMFL season number 82, all the way down to our bowl predictions. Next time Mr. Dawson's on with us, we'll get his prediction. Though I would say the funnest matchup would be Dawson Bowl number 1, and I definitely would tune in for that one. Just a quick state of the league address. It is super late. I'm dead tired, and I still got one more thing to do before I head to bed. So I'm not going to make this a big, huge, long, drawn-out thing as I have done on some of my state of the league addresses. I would say this is the most healthiest we have been. Look, out of all of the Madden leagues that are here and the 2 Madden leagues that are joining us, we're the only league that has been full and stayed full and never had an open team longer than 5 minutes, and that just speaks to the health here. And the few guys who have left have not been like key core members here outside of Zip, and Zip just hated the game. And I would not be surprised as we move into season 82. There's still a few owners who just despise the game, and I think that anyone who despises the game, sooner or later, it boils over, and it ends up ending badly. So it would not surprise me if we do lose 1 or 2 owners because they just get to a point where they can't handle the game anymore. I hope not. I hope that people can kind of find their happy space and play some good football. I think the sliders, as long as no more updates come out, are set and won't be touched. I would say that we had one of the most successful off seasons that we've ever had. We had the most consistent. What's the word I'm looking for? Consistent dedication. Consistent. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I'm dead tired. It's 11:30 at night here. But
participation.
Participation. There's a good word. People were super plugged in. We had all but 1 vote for the draft night, and it was a 50-50 vote. I think the pause draft worked great, and after doing that this year, I really think that's the way to go. We'll do 1 day, will be a pause draft. The next day will be the draft. We may not even put it up for a vote. We may just start picking the nights, because the offseason kind of, every offseason, it pretty much, unless it hits on like a Friday or Saturday, we'll put up a vote, because most off seasons pretty much dictate what night the draft night will be. But that pause draft 1 whole day with a real draft the next day just worked out spectacular. Everybody was able to get that first round pick in, and that led to just some happier owners. So yeah, it just was a great off season. A few little glitches. Everybody got the message about my team. It glitched out. We cleaned up some language on FPR. We cleaned up a couple of little rules that we wanted to clean up on. Definitely some caution plays that we put out there for everybody to be aware of. We don't want to ban them. There's no rules about percentage. It's just be cautious of how often you lean on those plays. And then guys are already seeing, the board knows, and the league is seeing. I've already put 5 guys into stage 1 of the warning system. I'm being much harder on guys this year. Look, I wish it was not my responsibility. I have so many responsibilities here. I hate this one, but it is my responsibility right now with FPR, and I'm going to start holding people's feet to the fire. And if I'm consistently seeing the same things over, we're going to have a face-to-face conversation about it. You're going to go in the system, and if we have to continue to talk about it, we're just going to move on, because there's some really good dudes in OMFL2 who are chomping at the bit to move up and take spots, and these are content-creating, FPR-playing owners, and that's exciting. So I'm excited about Season 82.
Nice.
I'm excited to see how things are going to play out. I think there's a lot of parity in the league. I think that the games are becoming more and more FPR, and now we're cleaning up a few small things that are out there, and I'm excited to see more content continue to be created. I'd love for somebody to do a fantasy league. I'd love for somebody to do a game of the week. Those are just things I can't keep up with. I may be able to over the Christmas break, because I don't have as much to do. I won't be working. So I may be able to do it then, but overall, when we're all in our normal scheduled lives, I just can't keep up with that stuff, and I'm trying to produce the content that's high quality. Press Pass Live is definitely that. The draft shows, trying to keep up with the hot seats. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities for guys to get involved, and we are again going to add some other incentives to the gold and maybe silver, maybe just trying to give guys opportunities to earn their keep around here and get awarded for things outside of just gameplay. I love the Pro Bowl voting, which went spectacular. I love the awards voting, which went great. Yeah, there's very little things about this league I don't love. I just think that we do a lot of really great things right, and it was just exciting to see how much participation we had. So sets up for an exciting season, number 82. And with the holidays here, the OMFL, most leagues have to give extra time, but here it seems like we actually, when guys have time off, we actually roll through more games than normal. So yeah, I'm super excited about season 82. Want to give you guys a minute to wrap up the show, give your closing thoughts, and we're gonna let guys out of here. So Maniac, give us your closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I mean, we're already well underway, and like you said, the holidays during Thanksgiving, it was like we were cranking out like a week a day. It seemed like, and we got through some time there really quick, and I think it's going to be the same way with the Christmas break. I think guys are going to get really involved and get plugged in, and yeah, I mean, want to see more content, and that goes for myself as well. I got to get some Bono back in the mix. Hopefully, since I got my my laptop now and stuff, I can get that going back on track and stuff, because I do miss doing it as well myself. And but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this season pans out, because like you said, the off season for season 82 ending season 81 was very very exciting. It was everybody was really involved and just the chat for the pause draft was just phenomenal too. There was so much chat going on. I remember one time I looked at my phone and looked at the chat, and there was like, I think 300 messages or something. I was like, what on earth? It's just that type of stuff right there is what makes this league one of the best, or the best, in the Madden community.
D-Wayne, put a bow on the show for us, buddy.
I will say one thing. The last, I guess we've kind of ran into. It's been a couple seasons now, or actually shoot longer than that. Guys, if you're not having a good game, or if you're if you're upset, you hate Madden, or it's just not going your way in the game, don't blow up your opponent's inbox during the game.
Which is against FPR. Like, it is listed in the rules that you should not be in chat and definitely not be sending PMs during games.
And now I've said if it's an emergency, if something comes up, or, if you have a major FPR violation, maybe you message the guy, say what's up. But if you're just mad because it's just not going your way, don't ruin the enjoyment for the other guy. If he's doing what he's doing within the rules and winning, don't rain on his parade for everything not going your way. But like Maniac said, and y'all have said, the off season went real well. We had a lot of excitement. I always say every year the off season is probably the most exciting time, especially in the beginning of the season, exciting time until stuff don't start going their way, and then it starts tailing off just a little bit. But I do think it speaks volumes as I've kind of seen the leadership chat. We've had a couple other leagues that are around here that are maybe a guy or two short or have lost a few teams, and the OMFL just keeps going strong. We are not without a team very, very long, and I think a lot of guys should not take that for granted, because I don't think, especially this year in particular, I don't think there's just a ton of Madden leagues out there that bring and give you what the OMFL does. And I hope guys don't take that for granted. If you can't see yet that most people that do leave, they end up coming back not long after. And I think you should look at that before you start making drastic decisions. Or if you think the pasture, or I guess it's pasture, the grass is green. That's the cowman coming out of me. The grass is green on the other side. I think you got a great thing here. That Maniac and Nate do tons more than I can speak to me doing. But you have a lot of guys here do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And like I said, Nate literally it's 11:30 at night, and I'm he's got to work tomorrow, and I'm sure Maniac does too. And we're up here doing a podcast so that y'all have something to listen to. And I will say that when I first got here, I thought that was the most, and I still do. I think it's, and I don't enjoy listening to myself. I hate hearing my own voice. I hate listening to myself as much as I loved hearing back when Nate and I think Brady and I can't remember who all did the PPLs when I first started, but that was one of my most favorite things was hearing my team's name called out in the Press Pass Live. But guys, just don't take it for granted. Enjoy your games. I thought Josh, when he told me that this week, that he lost his game, but it's the most fun he's had in a long time playing the game. That's what we're here for. I mean, I know it's easy for me to say that after, I've had some successful seasons, but I just enjoy the people here. I enjoy playing Madden. Yes, I might throw a remote every once in a while, but it's not a remote to anybody else. Okay. I don't very seldom get upset with anybody here. I consider most of y'all friends. So, but I enjoy it here, and I hope everybody else enjoys it as much as I enjoy it here. And I appreciate everything the board does, and I appreciate the guys here that schedule their stuff on time, that play the game the right way, and that enjoy it as much as I do.
Yep, I feel exactly the same way. It is. I'm excited about the league. I'm excited about the community. PUBG is really blowing up. We're adding these 2 Madden leagues here later this week, and so we'll have a bunch of new faces around and probably see some new advertisements for these leagues as they kind of push for anybody who's looking for a second or third, or some of you crazy folk, a 4th league. Again, there's a lot of really great content out there. If you're bored over the Christmas holiday break, check out our wrestling show, man. A lot of work goes into that, and I think you'll be entertained. If you're just looking to be entertained and sit back and watch some fun stuff, the stories will entertain you, the characters will entertain you, and the matches will entertain you. And look, if you're itching to come and play with us, hit me up, and we'll definitely come and add you. But as always, check out our website, grownfolksoc.com. You see all the great content that's being produced. There's a new hot seat that's out there. There's even a hot seat for the OMFL too, so make sure you check that out. But lots of new content. Grown Folks OC on Twitter, Grown Folks on C on Twitch, Grown Folks Online Community on YouTube. If you give us a follow and a subscribe, I'll always follow and subscribe to you right back. Scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. Look, we're just building a great community of good people that just love to play PlayStation 4 games. And if you're in the shooter community, if you're in the esports community, if you're in just looking to find a group of people who are super cool, who are not randoms, who are not jerks, who are not a bunch of kids who are cussing in their mom's basement, then check us out, Grown Folks Online Community. We've really built a really fun, competitive yet super understanding place that is really filled with people who like each other. So, man, thank you guys both for making some time tonight. We really want to punch this out, and we did it way longer than I thought it would be. We went 1 hour and 3 minutes. I got a little wrestling match to go do and still try to get my butt to bed and go to work tomorrow. So for all of the board here in the OMFL, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And for all the rest of the guys here in the OMFL, we look forward to you guys having a great season, a healthy season, and a really good time. So have a great week this week. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later, guys.
Peace.